Hello, hello. We have everybody here. So I want to welcome you to our first little baking event. We've got the Manly Baker here. Say hi, Manly Baker.
Hey, how's it going?
They didn't hear you. Maybe you can hear it on my mic.
Yeah, I think so.
So Matthew is a PhD, right?
Yep.
In pretzel making?
Yep, exactly.
I Santa here shortly, so if all the kids have been naughty or nice, regardless, if you want to, anyways, we're going to go over that here real quickly, but we're going to get going. So we just want to appreciate everybody for showing up. We're going to have two breaks, and one of the breaks we will have Santa. So if you want to have your kids ready in about 20 minutes, we'll you can ask him some questions, and he might read off the naughty and the nice list. So anyways, thanks for coming, and we'll turn it over to Matthew here.
Okay, can everybody hear me? Okay, great. So today we're going to be making, today we're going to be making soft pretzels, like Auntie Anne's, but better because you made them yourself. And no matter like what baking level you have, this is good for any level. I'm going to teach kind of like at the very basic level. If you're above that, just like stay patient with us. And so we'll teach so anyone can do this. It's really easy. It's a lot of fun, and they're going to be super good. You can eat them at the end, so it's going to be perfect. And feel free, if you have any questions while we're going, to shout them out, whether it's about this recipe or whether it's about any general baking question you have, something you made that like maybe didn't turn out that well, or like whatever, feel free to shout it out as we're going at any time. Like feel free to interrupt, no big deal. I know it's like kind of awkward on Zoom, but we'll get through, okay? Sounds good? Okay, so we're gonna start. We're gonna get the yeast ready with the water. So everyone grab a bowl. Oh, and one thing, hang on real quick.
Should we wash our hands first?
Definitely, yeah. I washed my hands already. I forgot to say that. So if you haven't washed your hands, wash your hands, get ready. Always a good thing. I'll give you guys a couple minutes for that. And one other thing you can do while you're waiting. So this is like, I have this video that says the Manly Baker on it. There's also another one, if you look through the participants, that says kitchen view. So you'll want to go to that and pin that one so you can see it. I don't like, it's not a big deal if you don't see my face, but if you want to see like kind of what I'm working on the counter, so make sure you go to kitchen view. You can see my bowl in it right now. I'm moving it around, and go ahead and pin that video, or just make sure you can see it and it's on your screen. Sound good? We good? Got our hands washed, bowl ready? And if I'm going too fast at any point, also like feel free to shout out and we can stop and wait for you guys or whatever. Sound good? Okay. So grab your bowl. We're gonna put some yeast in the bowl. Just if you have instant yeast, that's great. If you have active dry yeast, that also works great. So we're gonna get a half of a teaspoon.
So that's a small tea?
That's a small tea. Actually, no, 1 full teaspoon. My mistake. Little tea, full teaspoon, and you want to get a heaping teaspoon of that. So kind of spilling over the edge a little bit, and go ahead and dump that down in the bowl. And the tricky thing with yeast, the thing that like I think a lot of people get intimidated by with baking, is yeast and like potentially killing the yeast. Yeast is alive, so you want to make sure when you're adding water to it that you don't add too hot of water, or you can kill the yeast. So we want to add 3/4 of a cup of warm water, like not cold, or it won't really like activate and start the yeast like making air bubbles, but you want it to be not too hot to where it's going to kill it. So just 3/4 of a cup of warm water.
How much yeast have you killed?
You know, you do it like a couple times, and then you really, after that, you don't do it too many more times after that. Yeah, a couple times I like added too hot of water, and it kind of just, your bread or whatever you're making will come out as a brick. So it's no good. You want to just be careful to not do that. Okay, so in case anyone missed that, we got our bowl, heaping teaspoon of yeast, and then we're adding 3/4 of a cup of warm water. Okay, got that water, and go ahead and just pour it straight in the bowl when you're ready. Everybody caught up to there? Okay, we're gonna add now we're gonna do the 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Honestly, like just great, just normal table salt works great. If you only have kosher salt or something else like that, that works just fine as well.
So if it's kosher salt, what does that mean?
Kosher salt is just, it's slightly less salty for the amount you get, and it's a little bit bigger of flakes. But for this small of amount, like you can use half teaspoon for both and it will work just fine. Okay, so we got 3/4 cup of warm water, heaping teaspoon of yeast, half a teaspoon of salt. And now we're going to add 2 teaspoons of brown sugar.
So totally late in asking this, and I apologize. Where do I get for your bowl tip for the video of your bowl?
Oh yeah, so it's called Kitchen View. So just scroll through the participants and you'll see one that says Kitchen View, and I'm like moving the bowl around right now.
Aha.
Yeah. Good question. And you can pin that video.
Yeah.
I think you click on in the upper right corner, the 3 dots, and it will say pin video. So then it like doesn't go away even if other people start talking or anything.
Perfect.
Yeah, great question. Thanks for asking.
Thank you.
So we're going to add, in case anyone missed it, the 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. Okay, so yeah, I got 1 in there. I'm just gonna add that other one. And if you have light brown sugar or dark brown sugar, it doesn't matter, both work great. Are we all caught up there? Does anyone have any questions up until now?
Yeah, we came in a little bit late.
Okay, I'll catch you up. So we have a big bowl.
We got a bowl.
We added a 1 heaping teaspoon of yeast.
Okay.
And then 3/4 cup of warm water.
3/4 cup warm water.
And then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then 2 teaspoons of brown sugar.
Okay.
How much yeast is that?
Yeast was a heaping teaspoon, right?
What was that?
Yeast was a heaping teaspoon?
Heaping teaspoon, exactly.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Okay, so we're all cut up to the brown sugar. Okay,
Almost.
so now we're going to add 1 tablespoon of melted butter. So usually what I do to melt butter is I just grab like a mug or a bowl or something like that, just cut it off right off the stick and then throw it in the microwave and melt it. So I'll do that real quick.
Is salted better or unsalted?
Honestly, either is fine. I usually use salted, but unsalted is fine too.
1 teaspoon or tablespoon?
1 tablespoon, yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna throw this in the microwave real quick, give you guys a chance to do that as well.
How much butter did you say?
1 tablespoon. And you don't need it to be piping hot, melted. You just need it to be like barely soft and barely melted is good. Okay, everyone good? Once you have that melted butter, go ahead and throw that in the bowl as well. And this is where you can take a spoon now and we'll go ahead and just mix that all together. So I got my kitchen view there. It kind of looks just like a brown soupy mess, honestly, but I just want to make sure that yeast is stirred in, the butter, everything else. And just to make sure no one missed it, we got water, then yeast, then we added the salt, brown sugar, and then the softened butter. Anyone have any questions? Feel free to shout anything out if you got it. Okay, now we're getting to the fun part. So we're gonna start slowly adding flour. Some recipes, if you're making like cookies, for example, or something where you're not going to knead together, you wanna really accurately measure the flour. With a recipe like this that we're gonna knead, it's not exactly quite as accurate. More what we're gonna do is slowly add it until we get to a final consistency. So we're gonna slowly add some flour, slowly knead it little by little until we get to like the final consistency we want of our dough. So we're gonna start, it's gonna take about 2, maybe 2.5 cups of flour. So let's start with like about 1.5 cups. We don't wanna add too much flour. So we'll just start with 1.5 cups. Go ahead and dump that in the bowl and start stirring that together little by little. And yeah, everyone can see my kitchen view there. Pretty soon, after it kind of comes together, we're gonna plop it out down on the counter and start kneading it by hand. This is where it like really gets fun.
Does Santa love pretzels?
Oh, Santa loves pretzels. Who doesn't love pretzels? They're so good. Honestly, I've taught this class a lot of times to a lot of people, and people say like, oh man, I can never go back to Annie Ann's. I can never go back to any of those pretzel places because it's pretty easy to make them myself, and I can make them myself just as good.
Could be Manly Ann's.
Yeah, I like that. So once it kind of comes together, you can see my kitchen view, just kind of all comes together in like one clump. It's still pretty sticky and kind of ugly looking, but that's enough to grab a little bit of flour with your hands, sprinkle a little bit of flour on the counter, and then go ahead and like scrape it all out of the bowl and just plop it down on there. Good thing we washed our hands before this because we're gonna get our hands in this and knead it. You could do this in a KitchenAid if you want, but honestly, it's pretty easy to knead this small of amount of dough, and it's fun. It's like if you ever need a good stress reliever after a hard day at work or a day at school where you had a bunch of homework, this is a great stress reliever. Go ahead and just get some dough, make it together and knead it and make your own pretzels. Definitely one of the really important rules also with baking is I kind of have like, I said 3 cardinal rules of baking. Number 1, we kind of already talked about, is don't kill the yeast by adding too hot of water. And then cardinal rule number 2 is don't add too much flour. If you add too much flour, it will make your bread or whatever you're making your pretzels a little too dry.
What if you're gluten-free? Could you do this with?
You could do this with a gluten-free flour. There's a lot of different types of gluten-free flour. So it kind of, you could vary the recipe, but it depends on what specific type of gluten-free flour you're using. Yeah, some people use like just gluten-free flour or almond flour or like different types, and it will just do different things. So it just would depend on how you vary the recipe. I think there was a question in the chat. Let me go to it real quick.
Did we go from butter to flour, or did I miss one? My volume was really low.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, butter and then directly flour. Yep, good question, thanks. So I'm just slowly kneading together, and it always kind of surprises people as well. The more you knead, how you just need a little more flour, little by little. But again, we want to stick to that cardinal rule number 2, don't add too much flour. So just add it really slow. You can always add more flour, but you can't take flour out that you've already added in. So as it starts like sticking to your hands or sticking to the counter, you can just go ahead and like sprinkle a little more on top and then keep kneading it, but just do it nice and slow. And again, like I said, we're not measuring this exactly. So kind of the final consistency we want to get to is to where the dough still feels sticky after you've kneaded it for, add enough flour and kneaded it for several minutes. It still feels sticky, but none of it comes off and sticks to your finger. So I'll just keep, and there's no like really rhyme or reason. There's no like perfect way to knead. It's just kind of folding and squishing the bread around until it kind of, more of that flour incorporates, or more of the liquid incorporates more of that flour and just kind of absorbs it, so.
Would this be the same recipe if you were to make like a pretzel bun for like a hamburger or something?
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be very similar. You just wouldn't, we're gonna fold these into the pretzel shape, and this would just, you would just leave it kind of more as a roll shape. Kids, are you guys excited for Santa to come out? Once we get done with this bread kneading, I think I've heard he's coming. So I think he's coming. I would guess. You guys better get ready. I hope you've been nice this year too.
You can see my kids in the Ellie Grass one. My kids are going nuts.
Hi, Daddy.
Buddy, how are you?
Yeah, so my dough is getting like as I've kneaded it more, it's starting to get like a little sticky, stick my fingers in the counter a little bit. So I'll just grab a tiny bit more flour and sprinkle it on top. Yeah, and for a recipe like this, all-purpose flour is great. That's what I'm using today. You can also use bread flour or something like that if you want. It will change the consistency like really slightly, but honestly not a ton. How are you guys' dough looking? Does anyone have any questions of like, is this looking good? Am I getting close? Anyone? Oh, that's looking good. Anyone else? Yeah, I mean, mine's coming along. It's getting there. It's still like needs a little more because as I knead it more, it still will come off and stick to my fingers. So.
Ours is getting there.
Oh, good.
My kid's never afraid to talk.
Does anyone have any questions about something else they baked that didn't turn out as well as they thought? It sounds like Santa's getting closer. Okay, mine's getting a little closer. I think I've still got like a few more minutes of kneading and slowly adding flour, but we're getting closer.
Let's see your dough, Nels. Oh yeah.
Oh, that looks good.
Joseph's dough looks bueno. Walker, let's see your dough. Ooh, a little more flour, bud. Just kidding, I don't know what I'm talking about. Sarah, let's see it. I couldn't see very well. Cool. Andrea? Oh, bueno. A little more flour. I'm just kidding, don't take my advice.
So yeah, if it's sticking it all to your fingers or to your hand and like coming off and leaving some, go ahead and sprinkle a little more flour on. The more you knead it, the more it'll like absorb a little more flour at a time. So just keep going if you need to. You really can't over knead it, so don't be worried about that if you're worried about that at all.
You're kind of breathing hard as you're doing this. Is this like a workout?
Oh, it's a little bit of a workout. This small amount's not too bad, but sometimes I'll make like a really big batch, and after a while, it gets a workout. Are you guys all professional bakers? Is this anyone's first time baking anything ever? Any kids? Oh yeah, okay, I saw a couple of hands. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna add a little more flour. Oh, I think I'm breaking a sweat. Okay.
I almost feel like we should have some house music or something going.
I have a really random question.
Yeah, lay it on me.
Does it matter what the temperature in the kitchen is when you're doing this?
It will affect it slightly, but normal-ish room temperature is fine.
Okay.
Are you worried about it being too hot or too cold?
Warm, too warm.
No, you're probably fine. Being more warm would just kind of make the yeast activate a little bit more, and we'll just let it rise for a short time, so that shouldn't affect it too much. You should be good.
At what temperature does the melted butter kill the yeast?
It would have to be pretty hot just because we're adding such a small amount, and then it kind of gets diluted in the water. I've never had that problem, so I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah, no one in my classes has had that problem. So
Okay.
It's not really gonna raise yet, but once after we get it done kneading, we'll let it raise for like 10-ish minutes. Maybe Santa will pop by during that time, and you'll see that it'll get bigger, definitely.
That was kind of a professional baker question. Like that was like somebody not messing around. Is Paul helping you?
I'm doing all the work.
You better be. Paul, we still can't see your picture.
You want a visual?
Yeah, everybody. I don't want to see anybody's black screen. Come on, Jen Jones, Jamie Day, Mary Sloan, Rebecca Bradshaw from Arizona, Daryl. Oh, there you go, Kimberly. Oh, is that Shane? Shane and the River Arrow.
Okay, yeah, mine's getting real close. Another thing you can do to kind of check your dough also is when you poke it, you want it to like bounce back most of the way. See, mine's a little too sticky. It's coming off my finger, so I'm just gonna do it, add a little more flour and knead it around a tiny bit more.
Kind of a Pillsbury Doughboy type.
Yeah, pretty
Bounce
much.
back.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Grandma.
Once again, my kid thinks he can do whatever he wants.
Okay, I've got it close. I'll probably need it for like maybe 1 or 2 more minutes, and then it should be good.
When do we turn on our ovens?
We're gonna do it right after this. Yeah,
I'm just jumping the gun.
getting close.
Okay, let's see that. Poke it.
So I'm curious if I'm late to the party. We're in Arizona and it is 7:22 and we do not have dough started yet. Did we miss a start time here?
Yeah, we start at 7.
Oh,
You can catch
shoot.
up. You can catch up.
Okay, we'll try to catch up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'll list off the ingredients real quick. 3/4 cup of warm water. Okay, so I have my dough ready here. I'll just show you guys and then we'll catch up with the rest of everybody. I poke it, it feels a little sticky, but none of it comes off and sticks to my finger. Can everybody see that? And also when I poke it in, it bounces back. It's got like a good elastic structure, a good dough structure. Once you get to that point, maybe you need a little bit more if you're not quite there. I like to like kind of fold the ends underneath and get it into a nice ball shape. And then I leave it straight on the counter.
So
Uh-huh.
does this one look all right if you can see for Josie?
Who's, oh no, yeah, that looks good.
I guess?
Yeah, exactly, perfect. That looks way good. So just leave it on the counter. We'll let it raise for like 10 or 15 minutes.
Poke it, Macy. Let's see you poke it.
Okay, and for everyone catching up, 3/4 cup of warm water. Then we're gonna add a heaping teaspoon of yeast. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of salt.
It needs to be kosher salt. I'm just kidding.
Okay, and then 2 teaspoons of brown sugar.
Wasn't aware there was a comedian tonight.
I'm aspiring.
Okay, 2 teaspoons of brown sugar, and then a tablespoon of melted butter after that. Okay, if everyone's got their dough ready too, a couple of things we're gonna do real quick, and then we'll be ready for Santa to come. Get a pan on your stove, any kind of like saucepan or like a big pot or anything that can hold a few pretzels and hold at least like 4 cups of water.
For people catching up, you didn't mention how much flour to add.
Okay, so once we got the softened butter, then the flour is not exact. It's roughly like 2 to 2.5 cups of flour. You want to get it to the point and just keep adding flour slowly and slowly until it gets to the point where it kind of feels sticky to your fingers, but it doesn't come off and stick. None of the dough comes off and sticks to your fingers. So I would start with like maybe 1.5 cups and then slowly work it in as you're kneading more and more.
And the butter is going in with the yeast, the water, the brown sugar?
Yep. Yeah. Tablespoon of melted butter. Put it straight in there. Once you got the butter in there, you're good to start adding the flour slowly. So I would add like about 1.5 cups of flour, mix it in your bowl, and then sprinkle a little bit of flour on the counter and kind of plop it down and just start working it with your hands. And it'll take a little bit, but not too long, but you just want to get it to the point, like I said, sticky, not feels sticky, not doesn't come off and stick to your fingers. Okay, so for those of us that are ready, I'll show you my pan real quick and what we do. So on the kitchen view, you can see I just have a kind of a saucepan, and I put 1/4 cup of baking soda and then 4 cups of water in there. And I just turn it on really slow, like a low simmer, like a 1 or 2, so it can start warming up. So that what gives pretzels, they're kind of really nice, like dough on the outside and the nice like texture, and that pretzel flavor is it's in a way similar to bagels. So bagels, before you bake bagels, you actually boil them in water. And the difference between bagels and pretzels that gives it the distinct pretzel flavor is we're boiling it in that baking soda water. And that gives it that really nice pretzel flavor that's distinct from other bread types.
Will you give the baking soda and water ratios again?
So 1/4 cup of baking soda into 4 cups of water. Yeah, go ahead and put that on the stove and just have it just turn on barely simmer, so it'll start heating up. So by the time our dough is ready and shaped, that'll be ready to go. If it starts boiling a lot, turn it down. You just want it barely bubbling, barely simmering once we get to that step. And one more thing, turn on your oven to 400 degrees and have it. If you just have regular bake, that's fine. If you have convection bake, you can do convection bake as well. Go ahead and preheat that, so we're ready to go with that as well.
And you said 1/4 cup of baking soda, right?
Yep. Yeah. 1/4 cup of baking soda into 4 cups of water. And just any pan or pot, anything that'll fit that much is totally good. Okay, are we good? Are we caught up? Does anyone have any questions up until now?
Okay, I missed the baking soda thing.
Okay, so we're adding 1/4 cup of baking soda into 4 cups of water. And just putting it on a pan on the stove and barely turn it on simmer. Once you get that done, you can also turn on your oven to 400 degrees. I've just turned mine on regular bake. If you have just classic bake, that's great. If you have convection bake or something, that works as well. Okay.
And just go willy-nilly with the flour and the water, brown sugar, yeast mixture until it's doughy, bounces back.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, just slowly add it and just work it with your hands. And eventually you'll realize that as you don't need to add any more flour, and you could just keep kneading it and it won't be sticky anymore.
You said 1/4 cup of baking soda?
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And if you're
Okay, great. If you have questions that come up later, well, after this dough rises, I'll be back and we'll ask more questions. I think we're gonna have a couple activities and maybe Santa's gonna come, so stick around, stay tuned.
So who's new to cooking? Who just thought this would be a fun activity to do tonight? Who's here for the pretzels?
Oh, I'm here for the pretzels for sure.
Okay, who's here for Santa? Okay, kids.
Me,
you guys
right here.
I just heard him. I just heard him. Oh, oh. Hey, Santa.
Who's over there? Hi, guys. How you doing?
Hey, do you recognize any of these kids?
Some of you look sad. Are you happen to be on the naughty list, do you think?
Nobody's on the naughty list.
I don't know.
Did you bring your sleigh tonight, Santa?
Yeah, it's parked outside, getting all wet. Because it's not good snow, it's just wet snow.
Did you leave any food for the reindeer? I know my kids were wondering, what do you feed your reindeer?
They really like chocolate chip cookies, but they're not supposed to eat them. They're supposed to eat carrots.
Do they like the crumble cookies or?
Santa does. Forget about the reindeer.
So on Christmas night, you prefer a crumble cookie left out?
With chocolate chips, of course.
And then what, like some 2% milk, or do you like an almond milk?
What are you talking about?
Do you want
You can't get milk out of an almond. You don't have reindeer milk, I'll take cow milk.
Yeah. I swear you told me like
Do you like
I
eggnog?
like reindeer milk.
solid.
Yep.
Does anybody have any questions for Santa?
Mrs. Claus is minding the elves. They get in trouble when I'm not around. Does anybody have an elf on the shelf? Or are they causing trouble?
Nice list.
I've had a complaint about elves on the shelves pouring out Lucky Charms and eating all the marshmallows.
I have. Do you like eggnog with your cookies? On the fire.
You have regular milk in an eggnog, unless it's an adult beverage.
Oh, Santa, that's a naughty thing to ask.
Eggnog after deliveries, not before.
Do you have the elves working right now?
Yeah, they're
Overtime?
working, they're checking all the lists. Of course, we're gonna have to check them the night before, right? To make sure that everybody's still making their bed and cleaning up their messes,
So I have a question for you.
okay?
How do you read all these letters that the kids send to Santa?
I've been doing this for a long time. I can read very fast. Very, very fast.
Okay.
And the elves help me some too.
So one more break here. Did we forget to turn on our ovens?
Oven temperature should be
Or no?
400.
Oh, they asked what temp?
400.
Yeah, I think I was. 400 on the oven temp.
Mrs. Claus is also making candy tonight. That's what the elves like to eat after they're all done with their shifts.
Who else has a
Right here.
question? That's my boy.
Somebody's got a princess on her band on her head.
Okay, what's your question?
They'll have a question.
Question. I made a note for you, Santa, so I could have a Barbie. That's my thing.
Okay.
You know, Barbies have been popular for a long time.
That's my
Ron
thing.
stuck out.
It's taller than me.
You want an elf taller than you or a Barbie taller than you?
A pretty Barbie that has a dress. Two
Dress?
dresses.
Well, I think they all come with clothes.
And with my Barbie, I want a bag and
You don't believe, you don't receive.
That was a very good looking beard, Santa. I have to admit.
It's real too. You can pull on it. It doesn't come off.
You ever get food? What's the favorite kind of food you get caught in your beard, Santa?
Cookies sometimes fall to my beard, but then my puppies come along and eat the cookies out of the beard. Sometimes the reindeers do too, but they usually leave snot there too. Got to watch those reindeer. They're not as nice as you might think they are.
How much coal will you be delivering this year?
Oh, there's a lot of coal to a lot of the adults. They've been naughty for a long time. You about ready to start cooking again? Where's the dough at?
we're almost ready. Any last minute questions for Santa?
Who's this young man right here?
What are your favorite? What are the favorite rainbow
HHAR
food are?
from Arizona. You have warm weather down there, huh? 75 degrees?
It's 50-ish. We're in Prescott. You could send some snow our way, or any moisture for that matter.
That's really hot.
Yeah, it's been warm.
Even
Merry
here.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Santa.
Merry Christmas, Santa.
Where's our baker? Did he come back yet? Is he ready to keep cooking?
Yeah. You have a question?
Merry Christmas, Santa.
Merry Christmas, Santa.
Merry Christmas,
I
Santa.
hope Merry Christmas for you. I hope-
Merry
Okay, well, might stick around for a while longer, guys.
1 second. No, we're good. All right. I'm gonna switch mute.
Okay, that was fun, man. We got to see Santa. How cool. Okay, so just to make sure we're all on the same page, we've got our dough ready. It's raised for like 5-10 minutes. We have our oven preheating or preheated already to 400 degrees. And we have our 1/4 cup of baking soda with 4 cups of water in a pan on the stove, just barely simmering. If it's boiling a little, bubbling a little too much, go ahead and turn it down a little bit. If it's not bubbling at all, go ahead and turn it slightly up.
Can I ask a professional baker question?
Yeah, bring it.
What is the baking soda like? What does that do? Like, what's the point of baking soda and water? Just like, what is that? Is it for flavor, or what does the baking soda do?
Yeah, so the water, kind of like with bagels, will give it that like unique texture that bagels and pretzels are kind of similar. But then the baking soda, in addition, gives it like a distinct pretzel flavor. Otherwise, it'll just be kind of like pretzel-shaped bread, and it will kind of more just taste like normal bread. But the baking soda water really gives it like, you bite it and you're like, oh, that is pretzel very distinctly. Yeah, good.
How important is that 5-minute, let your dough raise? Don't touch it.
We can go with it. If you want to wait a few minutes, that's good. You can catch up to us. If not, you can probably just go for it and it'll be good. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna check out my water real quick. Mine's a little too low, so I'm gonna turn it up slightly. And now, honestly, this is my favorite part, besides eating, of course. Eating's great. So we're gonna shape them into the pretzel shape. It seems like it might be slightly tough, but honestly, it's not too tough at all. So what we're gonna do, if you have a, like you can see, I'll hold it up here, just like some kind of rolling pin or like a little dowel or anything. If you don't have anything like that,
A nightstick.
yeah, a nightstick. I honestly used to use a glass cup because I didn't have a rolling pin for like a long time. So yeah, just go with that. If you have a wood one or something, go ahead and like flour it down a little bit so your dough doesn't stick at all. And we're not gonna roll it out super flat. We're just gonna barely kind of roll it just to kind of make it easier to shape into the pretzels and cut it into logs. We're gonna cut it into logs and then form those logs into that pretzel shape. And I kind of want to see and make sure, yeah, you're checking out my kitchen view. Is that still on there? Can you guys still see that? Let me go to it real quick and pin it on mine as well. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure, I'm gonna try and kind of fold it out and pull it out into a rectangle. Just like that. And this recipe makes, it depends on how big you want your pretzels. It makes roughly 6 pretzels, just to give you kind of a ballpark of where we're gonna go with it. So I'm gonna cut it into about 6 logs. And so what I'm gonna use is this pastry cutter, like bench scraper, also called that. This is great for cutting. If you don't have something like this, honestly, just like a big sharp knife works great as well. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of cut the end and get it into roughly 6, 7, 4, however big you want to make your pretzels. Aim for about 6, just so they're roughly the right size. And then once I kind of have those marked out, all the sizes, I'm just going to cut them all the way down and turn them into logs.
Those look like breadsticks.
Oh yeah, they do kind of, but they will get turned into amazing looking pretzels. Yeah, Mike just. What was that? We good? Are we caught up? Okay, so I have my 6.
I wanted to say something. No, I
You want to say something? Someone want to say something? Okay, so now once we're all there, we got our logs cut out. I'll show you how to shape them out. So we're going to take one and we're going to barely roll it out. And we kind of want to make it as much as possible, get the same thickness throughout the whole thing. It doesn't matter quite as much how thick it is, as long as it's just consistent all the way through. So then it will bake pretty evenly. And kind of the diameter we want of these different logs, the size of them is about the size of your finger. If you're a little kid, maybe a little bit bigger than your finger. If you're an adult, roughly the size of your finger. Okay, I've got it rolled out, just about ready. And it'll be like roughly like 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet, maybe a little shorter than that, depending on how big your logs are. Okay, we ready? So I'll show you one and I'll show you a few more, just in case you don't get it the first time. So I've got my dough, hold it out, kind of stretch it out a little bit. I'm gonna put it into a U, just like that.
Go Utes.
Exactly, go Utes. Fold it right at the top, make a fish, and then twist the fish's tail, and then fold it down. Just like that, and you have a pretzel.
It's like a Boy Scout knot.
Yeah, exactly, not too hard. So once we have that ready, and I'll show you a few more times if that was too fast and you missed it. Once you get it down a couple times, it's honestly not too bad, so I'll show you. So once that's ready, once you have one of them, go ahead and grab some kind of cookie sheet. I just have a cookie sheet with a sill pad on it. If you don't have that, you can put it straight on the pan, or you can get some aluminum foil or anything like that works great. So I'm just gonna place them out and space them out so there's about 6 apart from each other. And then I will fold up the rest of my 5 pretzels. And if you missed that, yeah, let me roll this one out, get it about finger diameter all the way across. And then I'll show you how to fold them again.
Are we using our baking soda water after they bake or before?
Before they bake. So yeah, once we get them all folded up, we're gonna simmer them in the baking soda water just for about 30 seconds. And then we'll bake them directly after that. Okay, I got my pretzel, I got my log all rolled out one more time. So I'm gonna do go Utes, do the U, turn the U into a fish, and then twist the fish's tail, and then bring it down. Just like that, and you've got a pretzel. Like that, it's not too bad. And I'll just do those others. And they don't have to be perfect looking, and they don't have to be all the same size, because they're gonna taste delicious just the same, however they look.
We just got too much.
Does anybody have any questions up until now?
So what do you recommend if your dough is not rolling? 'Cause you got
Okay,
too much
is it just
flour?
kind of sliding across the counter?
Yes.
Okay, so it might just be slightly too floury. So what I would do is just get your fingertips barely wet. Just the end of your fingertip barely wet, and then roll it across, and that'll kind of just give you a little more grip on it. Yeah, and if there's a little too much excess flour on the counter, maybe wipe some of it off to the side. But yeah, get your fingertips barely wet, and it'll kind of give you a little grip on the dough.
Perfect, thanks.
Yeah, good question. Okay, so I'll do my U. Oh, actually, I'll roll this a tiny bit more.
Could Santa roll those with gloves?
He'd probably have to take his gloves off. Yeah, that'd be a little tough. But I bet Santa loves pretzels, honestly. If you want to leave pretzels for Santa instead of cookies, I don't think he would complain.
Like the Southwest type pretzels?
Oh no, you got to make your own. If you're giving pretzels to Santa, he wants these homemade ones. So you're gonna have to make them again.
Oh, some mustard with it, he said.
Ooh, that would be good with some mustard, yeah.
It's a little salty and savory, huh, Santa?
Okay, yeah, and now's a good time that we're getting close. Go ahead and check on your water. Make sure your oven preheated. Make sure you actually turned it on, and then double check your water as well, that it's just barely simmering. If it's too bubbling, or if it's like the bubbles are collecting and spilling over, go ahead and turn it down. And if it's not quite bubbling at all, go ahead and turn it up slightly. Yeah, so mine's sliding a little bit across the counter too much also, so I'll just get my fingertips slightly wet. And then it'll just help me grip it a little bit more. And then I'll do the U, fish, twist the fish's tail, and then pull it right down. This one's a little bit smaller, but it's not a big deal. It'll be good. And then I got 2 more just to like make sure we're kind of close to the same pace. If you're a little behind that or a little ahead of that, no big deal. We'll all get to the same point.
So while he's rolling that out, Santa actually brought some gifts. So Lindsay's gonna actually draw our first one. We've got a gift card. Who likes to go to the movies? Anyone like to go to the movies?
Oh yeah, we do.
Oh yeah, was that Joseph?
It was.
I want to see
All
the
right.
film.
So Lindsay, tell us, she's got a little hat she's drawing. Tell us who won the movies. Lindsay. Carrie Page. Show us your pretzel.
Where is it?
Can't see Carrie. All right, Carrie got one. Go ahead, Manly.
We're good? Okay, so I'm working on my last one. Getting pretty close. And also now is a good time so we're gonna simmer them barely. So you want something like this, kind of like a slatted big flat spatula. So when we put them down in the simmering water, we can let them simmer for 30 seconds and then we'll scoop them right on out of that.
We've got another gift card. Chili's. Lindsay, who likes to eat at Chili's? I personally like their chips and salsa. Lindsay? We've got Danny Phil, Nels. There you go, buddy. Congratulations.
Did people get kicked out? Did we hit our 45-minute mark? Because we had to log out and come back in.
Oh, really?
Just not see me?
So we got booted, and it looks like we're missing a lot of people to me.
Did you hear me? Justin, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
But you can't see me? You didn't see me?
I can.
Oh, now I can see you.
Okay. My
You want
pretzel.
a gift card, Carrie? Oh, your pretzels look excellent. Did you do those all by yourself?
I sure did.
Impressed. All right, we got another gift card to Home Depot. Nobody ever repairs their house, right? Lindsay. Lindsay, tell us Justin Walker. You need to paint an accent wall in your master bedroom. Here you go.
Where's Justin Walker?
Are we putting him in the water now?
We're about to. Yeah, we're just making sure everyone's on the same, like we've got all of our pretzels folded yet. It looks like a couple people are still working, so we'll probably just hang out for a couple minutes, wait for that, and then we'll put them in the simmering water, yeah, and then bake them after that. So if you're already there, already have your 6 made, just hang tight for a sec.
Should we do another gift card while we're waiting? Santa, tell us who wins this gift card. Lindsay, are you going to draw it?
Paul Winter Road.
Paul? No, he didn't show his face, so we didn't. Joe Ochoa.
What?
Movies. You said you liked movies. It was the Christmas spirit in your kitchen and brought it to life.
Awesome, thank you.
We still have 2 prizes coming up, but we're going to wait for a minute. We've got a Google Nest Hub smart display and a Ninja air fryer.
You want to put my name back in the pot?
Sure.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, does anyone need a little more time to form their pretzel shapes?
We do.
Okay, cool, no worries. We'll wait for a little bit. I'll just show you guys. So this is what I'm looking at right here.
Done.
Got my 6 pretzels ready. Once everyone's ready, we'll go ahead and put them in our simmering water for a little bit and then bake them.
Ours don't feel as amazing as yours look.
They will taste just as good though. I've done this a lot of times, so definitely my first ones were not great looking, but I've gotten a lot better on the shaping. So, but yeah, the important part is the taste, honestly, and so they'll taste really good.
So due to COVID, did everybody get their selfie with Santa? He's here in a very COVID sanitary environment. Anyone?
Somebody's already eating theirs. Edward. Somebody in orange shirt's already eating their pretzels.
He's not amused, Santa.
He's not amused. He's
Not
sad now.
amused. Jen Jones, do you want a selfie with Santa?
I test mine don't look that good.
That is totally fine. They will taste so good. And by the next time you make them, you'll be a pro.
I don't ever bake.
We're baking tonight.
Yeah.
Right. Tell me you don't cook.
Ooh, those look good. Can I see everybody's? Those that have them ready, can you show them in the camera? Let's see what they look like. Oh, dang, these look good. Okay.
Drew, that looks excellent.
Yeah, those look great.
Ellie,
See if you don't look like dog food.
Tammy, wow.
Amazing.
That's,
It's amazing.
Santa just said the kitchen views looks amazing, and it does.
Oh, thank you. Okay, we'll give you guys like 1 or 2 more minutes and we'll start simmering those in the water. One other thing you want to make sure you have ready is just some coarse salt. So different than just your regular table salt, either like a kosher salt or like a coarse Mediterranean salt or anything like a big thick salt. So we'll sprinkle that on top also to give us that really distinct pretzel flavor.
About cinnamon and sugar.
We will, if you want to put cinnamon and sugar on it, we'll do that after we pull them out of the oven. Yeah, so basically what we'll do is we'll simmer them. Right when they're still wet, pulling them out of the water, we'll sprinkle a little bit of thick salt on it. We'll bake them, and then we'll pull them out and we'll put melted butter on top. And then once you put melted butter on top, you can do cinnamon sugar on top of that, and it'll kind of stick to the butter. Or you can do some kind of like herbs or like anything else you want. I honestly just like the plain ones are really good. Or if you want to do, sometimes I'll do like half plain, half cinnamon and sugar. Have a little sweet and a little savory is always good.
Yeah, I got my nuts to show here.
Oh, those look good. Oh, I like you did some
You
different
said
interesting
yeah.
designs. Okay.
Traditional sheep shank,
Okay, that's cool. I like that.
little square knot, England's noose,
Boy Scout.
eagle, dude. Come on.
Oh, nice. I love it. Me too. I respect that. Okay, cool.
And I
So now we're all here.
flex a little.
So we're gonna bring over these folded pretzels, these shaped pretzels over to our simmering water. Sure. Yeah, that'd be great. So all I'm gonna do is I will grab it like this, and I will just place it gently in the water. Careful not to like burn yourself on the water. It's not too hot, but it's there. And this pan I can fit like 3 in, so I'll do it 3 at once. And we just want to do it for about 30 seconds. If you do it too long, it'll kind of be a little too bitter, but right around 30 seconds is perfect. So if you need to set a timer, that's great. Set a timer. If not, get that mental clock going. I've done this enough times where I can remember about what 30 seconds is.
Do you do 30 seconds per side, or do you just put them?
No, just 30 seconds. Yeah, and make sure your water's deep enough to where it'll kind of cover it. And if not, maybe like spoon a little bit on top and just so it's all covered and all gets wet. Yeah, good question. So that's about 30 seconds. They're all wet. And I'm gonna take them out. I'm trying careful to like keep that nice shape. And I'll just carefully scoop them out like that. And then while they're still wet, I just want to grab some of that coarse salt and sprinkle it on top while it's still wet, so then it kind of sticks to the top. So I've got the salt, and on those 3 that I just took out, I'll just barely sprinkle a little bit on top. and I'll get ready for my next one. I'll grab
Are
it.
we salting after they come out of the water?
Yep, exactly. Well, it's still wet. The dough's still wet. That's when you want to get it before it kind of dries too much and the salt won't really stick to it. So I'll put those last 3 in, let them go for 30 seconds. Yeah, and then again, I'll pull them out, salt them up, and then once we're ready with those and I've done my 6, we're ready to throw them in the oven at 400. Does anyone have any questions?
Do you put it back on the pan?
So yeah, if you want to follow along, let me pull these out real quick before it goes too long.
You have a YouTube channel?
I have an Instagram. I pretty much run most things through Instagram. So if you're making these pretzels later, and I'm a nice person, I'm like pretty chill. If you're making this recipe later, I can send it out. Justin can send it out to you. And if you're making this recipe later and you have some questions or you couldn't remember a certain step, so you can follow me on Instagram. It's just The Manly Baker. And feel free to like message me if you have any questions, or if you want to do a class later for your family or like anything else, feel free to message me on there. I do classes a lot. And when stuff calms down with COVID, we can do in-person classes too, which are a lot of fun as well.
Do you put it back on the pan?
What was that?
Do
Yeah,
you
go
put
ahead.
it back on the pan?
Yep, once you pull them out, put them back on the pan, and when they're still kind of wet, I'll sprinkle salt on those last 3 as well.
Did you say put salt on the ones you want to do cinnamon sugar on after they come out of the oven?
That is up to you. I personally like to put salt on all of them and then put cinnamon and sugar on top, because then you kind of get like a salty sweet, and it gives it that, the salt kind of, I think you kind of need that salt to give it the pretzel flavor, and then you can put cinnamon sugar on top after they come out of the oven as well. But totally up to you. If you want to skip the salt and just do the cinnamon sugar after, that's great as well. Okay, are we ready? Does anyone need a little bit extra time? Okay, we'll wait like 1 or 2 minutes. I just want us to like put them all in the oven at the same time, so we're pulling them out at roughly the same time as well. So we'll give you guys like 2 more minutes, and then we'll throw them all in the oven at the same time.
Drew, did you have a question? She's raising her hand. You have a question for Santa? Everybody's muted.
I have a question for Santa.
Okay.
I want to know how it was, what it was like raising Buddy the elf.
Challenging. Number one, he's bigger and he eats more than any other elves. He's always in trouble. He always does things his way, not my way.
And he loves syrup.
Loves syrup. Did he get cavities because he ate so much sugar?
Not so much. Mrs. Claus made sure he brushed his teeth.
So,
Hard to keep candy out of his mouth, though.
So while we have a quick second, I just wanted to thank everybody for coming. We do have a sponsor this evening, and we do a lot with partners and people we refer. And so I want to graciously thank Daryl Sam, and I want to give him a little bit of a plug. He is an estate planning attorney, and you're here because we do real estate, right? And one of the ways that we protect our families or our kids to make sure they're safe, or we've got a will or a trust, or just basic planning for the future for our families or for our money, or making sure our kids and our money are taken care of. So Daryl P. Sam, he operates in Taylorsville. He's been an attorney for 20 years. Fantastic guy. So healthcare directives, Vance Health, HIPAA releases, wills, trusts, and we'll post his information in the chat. So he's a fantastic guy that we refer our clients to. So thank you, Daryl P. Sam, attorney at law.
How long do you bake it for?
Okay, that's perfect. That's right what we're gonna do. So we're gonna throw them in the oven. First, we're gonna have a slight quiz. Does anyone remember the first 2 cardinal rules of baking? Kids or
Don't kill your yeast. Don't put too much flour.
Yep. Okay. And cardinal rule number 3 is do not overbake what you are making. The same idea with flour. You can always put something back in the oven and bake it for a little longer. But once you've overbaked it, it's overbaked and you can't undo it at all.
Can't
So
put it in the refrigerator?
no, you can't. You can't put it in the refrigerator, Santa.
Was I supposed to use hand spray before I put them on my tin foil?
No, it shouldn't stick.
Okay.
I don't think it should stick. Yeah, you can. If you did, that's great. If you already put it down, that's fine too. Yeah, I've got this sill pad, and aluminum foil, I don't think it should stick, but it should be good. Okay, so cardinal rule number 3, do not overbake. So we have it at 400, we're gonna put them in the oven. And so most recipes, when I look at a recipe, if it says bake it for 15 minutes, I'll usually set a timer for like maybe 10 or 12. Because I wanna just check it, make sure it's not gonna get overbaked. So this recipe will probably bake for about I'd say 12 to 15 minutes. But again, let's not be careful to not overbake. Everyone's ovens are a little bit different. So we're gonna check them at about 10 minutes. So go ahead and everyone put them in the oven now. If you haven't already, set your timer for 10 minutes. We'll check them after that and just maybe add a few more minutes on if they're not quite as brown as we want them to be yet.
You want it in the middle, top, lower part of the oven?
Just the middle's great.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I just use regular bake most of the time because I think it's the most consistent. If you have convection bake, that works great. You don't really need to use convection bake unless you're cooking like multiple sheets of something. Kind of the only thing convection bake does is it has a little fan and it will blow the heat around and kind of circulate the heat more. But sometimes with some convection ovens, you can get like hot spots in certain areas and things will cook a little bit unevenly. Oh, I don't think you can make this on the Traeger, but I do like cooking stuff on the Traeger. It's always a good thing. Okay, does anyone have any questions up until now? Are we good? Okay, we're gonna let those have your timers ready, check them after 10 minutes, and honestly, you can just take them out as when they're as brown as you want them to be. So just however, I like them like decently brown, so I'll probably check them after 10 minutes and then maybe put a few more minutes on after that. One thing we're gonna want to have ready for when we pull out is any toppings you want to put on it. If it's cinnamon sugar or just plain butter or anything else you want to put on it, we want to have that ready so we can put it on right when the pretzels are coming out of the oven and they're nice and hot. I'm gonna prep you probably want about 2 tablespoons of butter to butter all of them. So go ahead and also you can put that and you want that melted down. And then I usually use something just like a little brush, like it can be all silicone or one that looks kind of like a little paintbrush or something like that's great. So get your 2 tablespoons of butter, throw that in the microwave and get that melted down as well.
Santa's volunteered his beard.
Oh, okay, that could work. So get your 2 tablespoons of butter and then melt it in the microwave and just have it ready, kind of sitting next to the oven for when you pull them out and we can butter those up. Sound good?
Yeah, I gotta run. Bye, guys. Important things to remember before the 25th. Make sure you clean your rooms, pick up your messes, mind your parents.
And crumble cookies, right?
Chocolate chip crumble cookies. What's that? Thumbs down. You're not gonna leave me any cookies? May not leave you any presents. Bye, guys. Have a Merry Christmas.
And happy Hanukkah.
Santa. Merry Christmas. And I am going to get you a Happy New Year cookie.
Better than 2020 is what Santa said.
Okay, so I think someone asked a question in the chat. It looks like, where will the recipe be posted? I will send the recipe to Justin and he will get the recipe out to you. Probably via email, somehow. He'll get it to you.
Yep, we'll get you.
Yeah, great question. Okay, so we have a little break. I think we're gonna maybe do a couple more drawings or something, just while we're waiting for those to bake.
Thank you, Santa. Santa's gonna take off.
Ho, ho, ho.
girls. All righty. Who's having fun? Who knew exactly nothing to expect about this night? Thank you for showing up anyways. I saw the doubt in your eyes, Sarah. So we've got.
You can switch to yours if you want. Okay.
All right, can you hear me okay? So, who's excited to eat pretzels? Did anybody make any other type of sauce? Is it salty? Is it cinnamon and sugar? Or do you kind of do some kind of frosting-y, cream cheesy, something or other? Something like that.
You got cookie crumble, cream cheese, mozzarella, no, shredded Parmesan.
Danny there?
Grandma, hi, Grandma.
Cinnamon.
We can't see Danny, Nels.
Oh, come here, Dan. Down camera.
Hi, Danny. You won some kind of prize. I can't remember what, but you won something. So who would like to win the Google Nest Hub? On their
We'll take that. We're happy to take that for you.
We'd like to win that.
What's better? Is it Google or Alexa?
Google.
Google.
Oh, okay. All right, Lindsay. This is one of our grand prizes. Go ahead and draw. While she's drawing, Riley, you had a hard time figuring out Zoom. I'm not surprised. We will get the recipe to you right after, okay, buddy? And then I want you to ship me one of the pretzels because I want to taste it. Kate Broderick, come on down. In your brand new kitchen.
Yay, thank you.
It looks great, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, now I've personally never tried a Ninja air fryer. Have you, Mr. Manley Baker, Matthew?
I have once or twice. Air fryers are nice. They're real
Are
good.
they?
Yeah. Yeah, you can like, stuff just gets crispier. So anything frozen, or if you're making like French fries or anything.
We want that one.
And then without using any oil.
There you go. It's all about the non-oil, right? The triglycerides, is that right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
All right. Lindsay, please tell us who won the Black Ninja 4-quart digital air fryer. Who won it? Who wants to win it?
You want to win it?
I do.
Andrea Butler. Did she already win something? Andrea Butler, come on down. Excited about this?
I'm Woohoo!
All right, awesome. Okay, so we've got a few minutes, right?
Yep.
So we just want to thank you each of you. We love to put on events. We're not super great at them, but we thought this was a unique opportunity with the pandemic to just, say thank you, enjoy yourself a little bit. We can't really do in-person events, but we thought this would be fun. Who would be interested in bringing the Manley Baker back for a different baking class?
I think that would be a lot of fun.
2, 3, 4. Mr. Baker, tell us, what are some of your other things you do?
I think pretty much anything. On Zoom classes, you have to be a little bit, it has to be kind of the right thing, just so the timing works right and everything. But I do like an artisan bread class, and we could do a non-class is a lot of fun. People really enjoy that one. And I do some in-person classes that don't quite work over Zoom. And I'm always flexible. We can figure out something else. If there's something else that you could really want to try to learn to bake, I'm totally open to suggestions for a future class as well. It would be a lot of fun.
So Ethan and I really love macarons. Do you ever do that? Is that an easy one on Zoom? Or is
That is pretty tricky. Macarons are pretty difficult. They are delicious. I've made them a couple times, but they're pretty difficult, and it might be a little tricky to do with the Zoom class. Yeah.
Gotcha.
What about Twinkies? Can you make Twinkies?
I've never made a Twinkie. We could try to make a Twinkie. Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, and if you need any, so yeah, if you're on Instagram, follow me, The Manly Baker. And I bake stuff, like I cater stuff, like cater weddings or different events. And sometimes I just post stuff on there that I bake for myself. So if you need like a little inspiration of what you'd like to have us bake next time, go ahead and scroll through that and see. And like I said, if you have any questions when you're baking in the future about these pretzels or something else, feel free to message me. I don't know all of the answers, but if not, we can at least figure something out. So
What is let's get to know you a little bit. PhD, right?
How do you do the cinnamon
yeah,
sugar?
PhD student at the U.
How do you do the cinnamon sugar?
How do you do the cinnamon sugar? So once you take them out of the oven while they're still hot, we're gonna brush some of that melted butter on top. And then right after we put the melted butter on, we'll just sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon and sugar on top, and it will kind of stick to the butter and give you like a nice dessert pretzel.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Does anyone have any other questions? Has anyone checked their pretzels yet, or are people's timers up yet? A couple minutes left, maybe?
Don't overbake them, right?
Do not overbake. That is cardinal rule number 3. There will be a quiz for points of something. It will matter. And then your pretzel just won't be as good if it's overbaked. You definitely don't want to overbake.
So is it by look then? Is it like a light golden brown that you're looking for?
Yeah, definitely. Like
They're almost done. They're done in like 2 minutes.
oh, nice. Yeah. So if you want them a little more brown, go ahead and put them back in.
I still got Fortnite to play.
So you get my feet on my kitchen view camera. So they're getting a little golden brown. I like mine like fairly brown, so I'll probably give it maybe 2 more minutes. 2 or 3 more minutes.
What about this?
Like nice and pretzel looking.
That white part might still be doughy.
Is this all right?
It might still be doughy.
That looks good. You can put it in for a couple more minutes if you want. It's totally like personal preference. Yeah, after about
We're
like
putting it in for 1 more minute.
browning more. What was that?
You gonna want to do salt or cinnamon sugar on a couple?
Yeah, so make sure when you're if you're pulling them out, if you're about done with them, have your melted butter ready to go, your little brush, or if you don't have a brush, just you can like spoon it on top or something. And then if you want to put any toppings on, go ahead and do that, or just keep them plain. You could dip them in some like good kind of mustard sauce or anything like that.
Maybe while we've got a second, I'll just fill you in on a little bit of real estate. The market's really hot still. It's still a seller's market. We do not have enough inventory. We're always looking for friends, family, people you know in your neighborhood, maybe preemptively people that are thinking about selling. We love first-time home buyers. Any of those types of referrals, move ups, young professional kids looking to get in the first place. You also do rentals, investment properties. So if you're thinking about that, let's have a conversation. But those are ideal clients and opportunities for us. And where we're probably a little bit different is we try to give you information and education. We're not pressuring anybody to do anything that they are not ready to do. So we're here for the long term. So we really appreciate your business, your friendship, all those types of things. And so, never feel pressure. Call us if you have any question whatsoever. So any question right now so far? He's got his oven mitt on. We're ready. Bring it. Yeah.
Do you
Go ahead and
butter on the pretzels?
make sure they're good.
I wish my kids were more shy. They just always want to talk on the camera.
Okay, so
Your pretzels.
kitchen view, you can kind of see what mine look like. Like them nice and golden brown. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put some of that melted butter on top. And I'll probably do half cinnamon and sugar and half plain butter. And you really can't put too much butter on. I'm a strong proponent of putting plenty of butter on. And if there's a lot extra, it'll come down the sides.
But no margarine, right?
No margarine. You got to use real butter. If you don't have real butter, we can forgive you this once, but in the future, if possible, you got to have real butter. If you're vegan or something, I understand. We can work with margarine, but Really, butter gives you that good, really nice flavor you're gonna want.
Hey, chef, do you think the butter will help my pretzels from unsticking from the tinfoil?
Did it stick to the tinfoil?
It did.
I would grab a little bit, just like a, you can get like a metal, let's see. I can't find one, but yeah, like a metal scraper, and it should be able to lift off of those.
Look at me.
Oh, wow, okay, that really stuck. Yeah, in hindsight, we should have sprayed it, but since you already had it, I didn't want to like squish them around.
See, that's what happens when you show up late.
Yeah, sorry, I apologize. They'll still taste good if you can get them.
Don't worry, mine
They'll still taste good.
too, and I was on time.
What was that, Kimberly? We couldn't hear you.
I said, don't worry, mine stuck too. And
I'm sorry. I actually haven't used aluminum foil in a while.
Whoever was like,
And yeah, it'll depend a little bit on how wet your dough is, if they stick or not. Honestly, if you're really
yeah,
getting
but I know better.
these like
I just
silicone tabs, because nothing will stick to them ever, and it's kind of amazing. But yeah, go ahead and like pry those off. Now we know, and in the future they'll still taste plenty good.
And knowing's half the battle.
True. Okay, so I'm still working on these. I'm putting cinnamon sugar on a few of them, and then I'll just do plain on a few of them as well.
How long do we have to wait to eat them?
Oh, kind of as patient as you can be. It's nice to let them cool a little bit, but just so you don't burn your mouth at least. But yeah, I would just wait as long as you are able to wait. Okay, so I did a few cinnamon sugar, and then I'll just put some plain butter on the rest of these.
So here's our finished product. You got some cinnamon sugar on the left, regular butter and salt on the right.
Ooh, those look good.
Yeah, not too bad.
You're actually pretty good at that, Joseph.
It was Ethan, all Ethan.
Ethan, good work, buddy.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I'll do this last one, and then I want to see everyone, so you can hold them all up in the camera.
Man, Drew's family's putting out some mean pretzels. Look at that.
Okay, don't burn yourself, but let's all hold them up if possible.
The grams.
See what they're
Oh, that
looking
looks
like.
good.
Those are mine. I'll try and not slide them off.
Walkers? Well, those are like some jumbo, big old pretzels. I was gonna say the kitchen views look pretty good, but I can see those with my own eyes. Tammy?
So we only have 3 people, so we tried to make big ones.
Couldn't hear you very well there, Justin.
Where did all those?
We only have 3 in our household, so we tried to make big ones.
Oh, good job.
Gotcha.
Still nothing.
Else. I think he's.
Well, I will say they taste like pretzels. They're good.
That's great. That's always good.
Yep. They're good pretzels.
Good. Okay, does anyone have any questions? That's kind of all we got. Like I said, kind of wait as long as you can for them to cool, but if you need to dig in, go ahead and dig in. Does anyone have any final questions for me about anything baking related, pretzel related, or any questions for Justin about anything else?
No, just thank you. This was a lot of fun. Appreciate you inviting us.
Let's give the Manly Baker a hand. That was awesome.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining, everyone. It was a lot of fun. It was
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Before you go, I just
Thanks
want
from Arizona. Lindsay, thanks for sharing on Facebook.
Thank you.
Thank you.
shout out to Daryl Stan, our sponsor. If you have any questions for me offline in real estate or our attorney on estate planning, you know, give me a call or an email or a text. Hope you guys have a very happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and thank you so much.
Happy Hanukkah, everybody.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.